Hello there, folks. Brad Walsh here, your host of the Empowerography Podcast. Today's episode, we're going to do something a little bit different from the usual interview norm. I am going to tell you all about my why for the podcast and for my photography business and all of that great stuff. I think it's necessary to put this out there so all of you listeners and the audience are aware of my story and my background, where I come from and why I do what I do. So let's jump right in. So my story starts off with my journey through photography. Don't worry, it all comes around to the podcast. It's all intertwined and blended in there together, but my journey does start with photography, and the reason for that is photography has been such a huge part of my life for many, many years. I took photography in high school back in the days when we shot on film and we're developing our own film, black and white film, in the darkroom in school. So I hope you enjoy my story and gain a little bit of insight as to why I do what I do with the podcast, and my vision for it, my mission, and all of that amazing stuff. So as I stated earlier, my journey begins with photography. I am a boudoir photographer. That is my full-time gig, my business. And the funny thing about this whole photography journey is I never ever wanted to photograph people. People were the last thing I wanted to shoot. I was more into photographing architecture and landscapes, urban exploration, and things like that. Now, I've had my photography business for 10 years, 7 years part-time and 3 years full. I just had my 3-year anniversary back in July of this year. But while I was building my business part-time, I was working at an accounting firm as an audiovisual technician. And I would say a few years into my job there, I was voluntold or tasked with the responsibility of doing the corporate headshots for the professional staff, and that is truly where my love for photographing people came in. I thoroughly enjoyed the process. I loved having that human connection and being able to chat with each person I was photographing when they were sitting for their portrait, whether it be 5-10 minutes, whatever the amount of time was I had with them. I enjoyed that time that I was able to spend with them and hear a bit about their story, learn a bit about what they do and where they come from and all that good stuff. Now I would say probably 3 or 4 years following that, I was introduced to a boudoir photographer through a mutual friend based in Florida, and I fell in love with her work. I didn't know a lot about boudoir photography at the time. I knew it existed. I knew a little bit about it, but not very much. And I ended up mentoring with this woman for 6 months. And through that mentorship, I learned about the amazing thing that boudoir photography is, the amazing genre that it is. I love the fact that I could give back to women and help them feel comfortable and good in their own skin, and boost their self-confidence and help women to feel empowered through photography, through using my camera, something I absolutely love to do. My life's passion, photography, and being able to give back to another human being like that, to me, was just one of the most incredible things I could do. So after my mentorship with this woman finished 6 months later, I knew it was like a light bulb went off in my head. It was a light bulb moment, and I just knew that is the direction I have to take my business. That's where my focus has to go. I love the fact that I could give back. And so I set out on my journey when I made the jump full time into boudoir photography. Now, don't get me wrong, I still love doing headshots and product photography and things like that. Pretty much anything I will photograph except for weddings. That I cannot get my head around. I can't get behind it. Not something I want to do. So I decided again to focus my business on the boudoir aspect of it. And that was the beginning of my journeys into boudoir photography. I have 2 daughters. They are aged 19 and 21, and they are 100% everything. My why for the photography, for my podcast, for Empowerography, they are the inspiration behind it. And the reason being for that is that both of them were bullied as kids in elementary school. My youngest was bullied by boys and girls, both verbally and physically, and my oldest was bullied by girls mainly, just verbally. Now, for me as a father of 2 young girls, I saw the effects that this bullying had on them carry through the years into their pre-teenage, their teenage, and of course now their young adult lives. I still see the effects from the bullying there every day. And standing back, yes, I mean, that was heartbreaking for me to see my girls go through that and endure that with them. But standing back and looking at it from a wider angle lens or a bigger perspective and thinking about this whole bullying thing, the fact that there are so many thousands of kids who go through and deal with this bullying shit all the time, every day. I mean, I myself am a victim of bullying, so I know what it's like. But focusing on girls and the fact that girls going through this, because I have 2 daughters, I'm focusing on girls, but girls having to go through this and carry this with them into their adult years as women and have it affect how they see themselves, or whether or not they love their bodies, or whether or not they have the confidence to do the things they want to do in life, is just heartbreaking to me. I think it's horrible that any young child has to go through that and carry that through with them to their adult years as women. It's terrible. It's heartbreaking. So for me, being able to give back to women through boudoir photography, and if I can tweak their mindset even just a little bit to where they feel a little bit good about themselves, a little bit better about themselves, or they love their body a little bit more, or that they see themselves in a light that they don't normally get to see themselves in. If I can tweak that mindset just a little bit, then that's a huge win for me. It means the world to me. I mean, I've had women come into viewing sessions after we do their shoot, and they tell me that they cannot believe that that's them in the photographs that they're looking at. And to me, that is amazing. That has to be one of the most incredible feelings in the world, to be able to elicit that kind of emotion from another human being by creating these images with them, this art, this beautiful artwork with them, to have them feel that way and change their mindset to see themselves a little bit differently and like what they're seeing or love what they're seeing when they look at the photos. That to me is absolutely everything. That is a huge win for me. And I love that I'm able to do that and give back to other human beings to make them feel that good about themselves. That means the world to me. Now, last year, I was sitting around thinking, okay, what else can I do to further my mission that I'm on, as I'm already knee-deep in women's empowerment and body positivity and self-love and self-confidence and all of that amazing stuff. I thought, well, I'm going to start a podcast, but the difference with my podcast will be that I'm going to focus it only on women in the entrepreneurial space, women who have worked in the corporate world, women with a story to tell. And I mean, because I come from a corporate background, I saw how women were treated in the corporate world. I was there for 12 and a half years, so I witnessed it firsthand. So I have an idea as to what women go through in that regard, having seen it, been witness to it. And the fact that there are still, in 2020, still not enough women in C-suite level positions in these corporations is just mind-boggling to me. I mean, we are not in the 1940s or 1950s anymore. This is not an old boys club mentality. We need to shift that way of thinking. We need to shift the mindset and change that. There need to be more women in these types of positions in the corporate world. Women are just as capable, if not more so, in a lot of cases than men to handle these jobs and do a great job at these jobs. So we need to change the mindset. So with this platform I wanted to create, I thought I'm going to reach out to 8 or 9 friends of mine who were in the industry of photography, makeup artists, areas like that, the arts. And I explained to them what my plan was for this platform and asked them if they would help me get this platform off the ground by participating and letting me interview them for the podcast. Thankfully, they all agreed. It was great. I was very grateful and thankful and happy that they did. So I recorded the 8 or 9 interviews with my friends, and The content turned out pretty good. I was publishing one episode roughly every 2 weeks because I didn't have a lot of content at the time. I figured that was a good timeline in terms of publishing episodes. So I didn't put a lot of effort behind it, unfortunately. I wasn't present or pushing it on social media a lot. I didn't talk about it a lot. I didn't let many people know what I was doing. I kept it low, which in hindsight, of course, was not the right thing to do. But my photography business started to pick up a bit of traction. And unfortunately, I had to put the podcast on the back burner and focus back on the photography business because, of course, that was what was helping me pay the bills and survive. So I put the podcast down, or on the back burner, so to speak, and put the focus back onto my photography business. So fast forward to the beginning of this year, 2020, and well, we all know how this story started out and how it's been playing out. I had 7 or 8 shoots booked, and of course, we get hit with the pandemic. So there goes the shoots out the window. I can't photograph any sessions because of the pandemic that we're currently in. And I heard so many people whining and bitching and complaining about the fact that they were bored being stuck at home, and they think it's so unfair to be stuck at home, and they just want to get back to work. They want to do things. They don't know what to do. They're bored. And I thought, I am not going to be one of these people. I'm not subscribing to that type of whining and complaining and that bullshit. I am going to take advantage of the situation that we're in. I mean, we were all in the same boat. I'm going to take advantage and use this time to my advantage to create something good and do something with the time I had on my hands. So I decided to reignite Empowerography, the podcast, and really put some effort behind it this time, really push it on social media, talk about it, get the word out there. So with that being said, I set a goal for myself at the end of March, early April, that I would amass 52 interviews. Now, the reason for that number is I figured if I amassed 52 interviews, I would have enough content that I could publish one episode per week and let the podcast kind of run itself. When we do come out the other side of this pandemic, I would have enough content that it could basically run itself, and I could shift my focus back towards my photography business and make up for lost revenue because of what was happening with the pandemic. So I started reaching out to women on Instagram early April, and I have to say the response was incredible. It was absolutely amazing, overwhelming. My heart was full of gratitude and happiness and love for all of these incredible women who I was reaching out to that agreed to be part of this movement and community I was trying to create. The response was just amazing. I had women jumping on board. I had women recommending friends that I should interview. It was just so overwhelming. And I have to be honest, I wasn't really expecting that type of a response. Part of my brain was thinking, okay, let's give this a try. But I was somewhat expecting a little bit of pushback from women saying, well, you're a man. What the fuck do you know about empowering women? And fair enough. I mean, I'm not a woman. I don't know firsthand what women go through, but I do have an idea, having daughters and seeing what they went through as kids and bullying and growing up into the fine young women that they are today. But my wife, as well, as seeing what she goes through in her job and the things she has to deal with. But happily, I can say I didn't receive any pushback at all, which was amazing. It's been nothing but positive, and women are jumping on board with this movement and this initiative that I'm creating and want to be part of the community. They're overjoyed that a man has created a platform like this and provides a platform that allows women's voices to be heard and share their stories and journeys. And that to me is the biggest compliment and the biggest thanks. That is the reason for all my gratitude, because of how willing the women are to be part of this community and want to share their stories and are eager to share their stories. That is amazing to me. I love that I'm able to sit down and speak with each one of these incredibly inspirational and amazing women for an hour at a time. I mean, albeit an hour is not a lot of time to delve into someone's personal life and get their whole story and their journey, but it certainly does give myself and, of course, the audience a very good idea of some of the struggles they've gone through and the adversity they've faced and overcome and the journeys they've been on. And I have to be honest, I pull inspiration from every single one of these women, and in hearing their stories, there's inspiration in every single story. And I just love that I'm able to I'm afforded this time to sit down and chat with each of these incredible women, because I do pull inspiration from every single one of them. And being able to spend that time with each woman is just incredible to me. I love that I'm able to provide this platform to give back to women. I mean, there's another bit of information behind my why, and that is the fact that I was raised by my mom and my grandmother. Basically, into my teenage years, my mom decided when I was 10 years old that she'd had enough and decided she wanted to divorce my biological father. So, I mean, back then, the mother stayed home to look after and raise the kids, and the father went out to work and made the money, brought the money in to support the family. Well, with my mom having made this decision to leave her husband and go out on her own, that meant she had to reintegrate back into the working world and get back out there and make money to support her two boys, my brother and myself. I mean, the three of us were living in a one-bedroom apartment. My brother and I shared bunk beds, and my mom was sleeping on the couch. And when my mom was off at work, my grandmother stepped in and looked after us and helped raise us. So I've always had these two pillars of strength in my life, in my mom and my grandmother. So I do have an idea what women go through. Again, I could never, ever profess to know what it's like to be a woman, but I do certainly have an idea what women deal with and what women go through, and the absolute incredible strength that women have, the resilience and all the adversity. I mean, it's just, I'm in awe of these two women, and of course of my wife, and my daughters are a huge inspiration, as I mentioned. So all five of these women, my two daughters, my wife, and my mother and my grandmother, are the pillars of strength behind all of this. They are all my why, all five of them. My daughters especially, because of what they've been through, they are the reason for all of this. All five of these women. I mean, without my mom and my grandmother raising me, I wouldn't be the man I am today. So I have them to thank for getting me to where I am today. And again, all five women have all been crucial parts of my appreciation for the amazing things that women do and the amazing human beings, amazingly strong human beings that women are. I appreciate all of you. You've all got so much greatness within you, so much to share. I'm just happy that I can provide this platform for women's stories to be heard. I mean, for me, the goal of this whole podcast of Empowerography is that we together as a community reach, help, and inspire as many women as we possibly can together. Because honestly, this podcast is just as much yours, ladies, as it is mine. Because without you women, there is no podcast. So I thank you and applaud you for stepping up and taking part in this community and joining me in creating this movement and helping to further it. I want to grow this thing into the tens of thousands of followers. And for me, the tens of thousands of followers isn't about an aesthetic number to say, oh, look at us, we have 10,000 followers or 10,000 plus followers on our podcast. For me, it's about the fact that if we've got 10,000 plus followers on our podcast, that means 10,000 plus followers that are women that we can potentially help reach and inspire. And for me, that's what this podcast is all about, is being able to reach, help, and inspire all of the amazing women out there through your stories and your journeys that you're sharing with me and with the audience here on Empowerography. Like I said, if we can reach tens of thousands of women with this podcast, then that's the job of the podcast done. That's what it's all about for me, being able to help and just create content that inspires. And I mean, maybe there's a woman out there who hates her 9-to-5 and wants to make the jump into entrepreneurship, but doesn't have the confidence or is not sure how to go about doing it. And through listening to one of, or two, or three, or four of the episodes on this Empowerography podcast with all of these amazing women, she finds the inspiration to make that jump. That to me is what this is all about. So I just want to say thank you to all of the amazing women who have participated in the podcast up to this point. And I look forward to having many, many more women participate in this podcast and just continually growing this community. I thank you all. I am forever grateful to all of you who have taken part up to this point, and I'm looking forward to getting more and more women on board and joining this community. And I want you to know how much I appreciate all of you and how amazing this journey has been so far. We're 5 months in, and it's been absolutely incredible. I am overwhelmed with gratitude here. So I truly hope that my story has resonated with you and you've enjoyed listening to this episode as much as I've enjoyed telling this story. I mean, I know I've told this story many times. I'm sure there are women out there listening who have already heard the story, but I just figured it was important that I get this out there for all the other women who haven't heard it, and just so it's there so you women know what the reasoning is behind Empowerography and behind Visuphoria photography. And I just thank you for taking the time to listen. And again, I just want you to know that I appreciate all of you, and I'm truly looking forward to growing this community. And I just want to say again, thank you so much to all of you who have jumped on board and been part of this. I look forward to working with many, many more of you in the near future. And thank you all for listening and supporting Empowerography Podcast. I appreciate you all. Thank you all so very much for tuning into today's podcast episode. If you haven't already, please subscribe, rate, review, and share with all your friends. You can find me at www.visuphoria.ca/empowerography. If you're on Instagram, you can find me at Empowerography Podcast. And if you're on Facebook, you can find me at Empowerography. Thanks very much. I hope you all have an amazing day.